Skirting is the first and vital step in preparing a raw fleece, irrespective of its intended purpose. If you buy a fleece online or at a fibre festival, it should definitely have already been very well skirted. However, free or gifted fleeces, or those bought directly from the farm, in my experience, rarely are. Unfortunately, sheep do not just stand pretty and pristine in a field until shearing, or at least my four don't. This is Yori and Jack and Seren and Gwynllian. Sheep that are found for their special wool fibre are called a fibre flock. They sometimes wear special coats to keep their fleeces clean. They are unlikely to sleep on straw and certainly won't have a raised hay rack, but ours are very pampered pets first and wool producers second. When skirting, the priority is to remove any unhygienic soiled fleece from the breeches of the fleece, and then check the entire fleece for any other unwanted bits that are practical to remove, such as straw, twigs, seeds, mud, scurf, and shortcuts. Most will want to wear gloves, but as I have dexterity problems, I prefer to just give my hands a really good scrub. The collective term for the soiling and vegetation in the fleece is vegetable matter, often abbreviated to VM. You may see VM written or talked about quite a bit. It's impossible to get everything out, but the more you can remove now, the more time you save later. And if you are selling the fleece, the price and your reputation is dependent on how thoroughly skirted the fleece is. Paint marker can be kept or removed depending on the intended purpose of the fleece. If the intention is to make a rug, spin or felt the wool, you're likely going to want to remove it. On this occasion, I will be scouring the wool to make stuffing for a felting commission, so I am more than happy to make use of the paint marked wool. In fact, I'm glad to be able to. Many marker paints are advertised as removable, but I find it will lighten in the scouring process, but it's really unlikely to be removed completely. Blocks like this that are full of tiny pieces of vegetable matter are best removed to save your sanity. I think this is just dirt on the tips where the sheep was lying in mud. As I'm going to be doing a video on the scouring process, I'm going to keep that in to see just how well it cleans up. Shortcuts are created when the shearer or the farmer takes a first pass with the shears and then takes a second pass to get a shorter cut. The resulting shortcuts can seriously impact on the quality of your yarn or felt and need to be removed. This is the top of the fleece that you can see when the fleece is on the sheep, and this is the cut side. You'll find that a lot of shearers and farmers will fold all the scrappy edges onto the top of the fleece and pick all the bits of loose stuff off the floor and throw them on top as well before rolling them up. I guess they do this to keep the area tidy, but even if the wool's going to a bulk wool buyer, it will be downgraded to a lower price in spite of the small additional weight. It's therefore important to check the top of the fleece for shortcuts. If you're felting a fleece to make a rug, a shortcut left on the top will likely ruin the rug. The most challenging to deal with is scurf. There isn't any in this fleece, fortunately. It is the sheep version of dandruff that comes off with their fleece in thick, greasy scales. After washing, it takes on like a chewing gum-like consistency that is almost impossible to remove. Fortunately, it's not common, but older sheep can be more prone. When I next come across a fleece with scurf, I will create a video on it. The ideal skirting table is a very large one, with a mesh base for the bits to fall through. A good shake on such a table would save a great deal of time. But unfortunately, I, like most people, do not have the space to store such a luxury, so my outside table has to suffice. Especially when working on a small table, it's easier to work on a small area of fleece at a time and then pulling the area off before bagging it. Obviously, if you're felting a rug with the fleece, then that's not possible. If you do not intend scouring the wool straight away, it's best to bag the wool in thick paper bags or at least something breathable. and store the bags in a dry but bright, airy space. Moths love a dark corner. Hanging lavender, eucalyptus and cedar blocks close by is another great moth deterrent. I'll be scouring this straight away, so please look out for my next video on scouring raw fleece. Now to the scouring shed. Thank you. I hope you have found the information useful. If you have, please like the video, and if you do subscribe, please click on the bell to be notified on future videos on all things fluff. We'll see you next time.